Thank you for this opportunity to speak as part of the Missing Script exhibit. My name is Debbie Anderson, and I run a project in the Department of Linguistics at UC Berkeley called the Script Encoding Initiative, or SEI. My project works on the development of the international standard called the Unicode Standard, or as I'll refer to it here, Unicode. For many people, Unicode has something to do with getting emoji onto your mobile phone. But Unicode actually encompasses much more than emoji. The broader goal of Unicode, as described on its website, is to preserve humanity's common linguistic heritage and provide universal access for the world's languages, past, present, and future. So besides emoji, Unicode is responsible for adding historic scripts, such as Egyptian hieroglyphs, as well as scripts used to write modern minority languages, so that these scripts can be used on your computer and mobile phone. On the bottom left of the slide is a cover of an atlas written in a script that was created specifically for the Rohingya language. The bottom right shows the Toto script, a fairly new script used by a very small community in northeast India. So what is Unicode? Unicode is an international character encoding standard. It is widely supported in the computer industry around the world. All modern operating systems for computers and devices are running Unicode. Basically, Unicode makes it possible to send and receive text electronically. Today, when you type on your laptop, text message, or tweet on your phone, for example, you're already using Unicode. With Unicode, the text you type, such as the Mongolian text shown on the slide, should be received exactly as you intended it, whether the device is made by Samsung, Apple, or another manufacturer. It should also work the same whether you use Microsoft Word or other software. The goal is to prevent the text from coming out garbled, with question marks, square boxes, or nonsense characters. Unicode also provides the foundation for copying text and search and cut and paste capabilities, as well as search, so that you can do search both within a document and across the internet, such as with Google or other search engines, and preserving text in a stable, archivable format. Unicode makes it possible to type, save, and archive text, so the inscription written in the Palmyrene script on the slide will be saved as text for posterity. The focus of the Unicode standard is on the written version of language, specifically the script used to write one or more languages. By script, I refer to the letters and other symbols used to convey textual information. Scripts include Latin or Roman script, Cyrillic, and Greek, for example. This map roughly shows the distribution of modern scripts across the globe. Aqua identifies areas whose languages use the Latin script. And as you can see, Latin is used in the Americas for English, Spanish, and Portuguese, as well as a number of native languages in the Americas. It's also used across Europe, south of the Sahara, Australia, Indonesia, and Oceania. Purple indicates Cyrillic, such as in the areas of the former Soviet Union, and green for Arabic. The reason the Unicode standard works to encode scripts rather than languages is because scripts can be used for several languages. So the Unicode character Latin small letter A is used to write the Finnish, Turkish, English, and Swahili languages. Today, 150 scripts are in Unicode. Of these, about 2/3 are still used today, and about 1/3 are historic. To show you graphically the geographical spread of scripts in Unicode presently, I created this slide with a small sampling of the various scripts in Unicode. The green glyphs indicate historical scripts, as opposed to modern minority scripts. As you can see, they're spread across the globe, with many in Africa, the Middle East, Asia, Indonesia, and Oceania. However, about 160 scripts are missing. Of these, 43% are historic, 43% are modern, and 13% were used into the 20th century but are not used today. Most of the 20th century scripts will likely become historic, though a few may be revived. The goal of my project at UC Berkeley, the Script Encoding Initiative, is to help user communities get the 160 scripts of the world into Unicode. A second goal is to help make them accessible on computers and devices and in fonts and software once the scripts have been included in Unicode. The project has been successful. Over the past 17 years, it's assisted in getting over 88 scripts into Unicode. So, how does a script get into Unicode? The process involves several steps. The first step is for a proposal to be written. A proposal describes all the characters of the script, as well as providing background on the script and examples of the various characters in use. My project works with proposal authors on their proposals. This slide shows a proposal written by Anshuman Pandey for the Gunjala Gondi script. It's a modern script used today in central India. Like many other modern scripts that have been proposed, it is not the main script for the Gondi language, but it is being taught in schools and is undergoing a revival. Gunjala Gondi was a successful proposal, but about 40 proposals are still moving very slowly through the approval process or are even stalled for a number of reasons. In a few cases, it can be very difficult to reach the communities to get further information. An example is the Wolai script, which was used in the islands of Micronesia from the early 1900s until the 1950s. It appears inscribed on some rafters and on tattoos. Wolai is not close. Flights to the islands have been suspended for many years, so the only way to get there is by ship, which only goes to the island once every 3 months. Unfortunately, those who may know about the script are getting elderly, so the script remains in a holding pattern until additional information can be gathered. Another problem facing some scripts is that material remains of the script can be lacking or in poor condition. On the top of this slide, you see one of the few documents showing the Pele script from West Africa. The script was an indigenous creation dating to the 1930s. It was used for tax records, to record debts, and a recipe book. It appears to have been used into the 1970s. For this script, more materials are needed before it will be ready for encoding. The darkened image below is a wooden board from Inner Mongolia, China, with writing of the Khitan large script. Khitan large script was devised about 923 of the Common Era during the Lao dynasty, which covered Mongolia, northern China, and parts of northern Korea and the Russian Far East. As you can tell, the photo is very, very poor quality, so presently scholars need to rely on a published transcription. Without being able to see the object itself, or have a high-quality scan, it's difficult to gauge the reliability of the transcription, which is one person's reading of the text. I've lined up a group to do multispectral imaging of the slip, but the contact in Inner Mongolia reports he's having difficulty locating which museum currently houses it. So until the script can be seen, or even better, imaged, so it can be studied and preserved, the work on the script has been slowed because this wooden slip contains characters found nowhere else. The next step in the encoding process is for the proposal to be approved by 2 standards committees. One committee is made up of the Unicode Consortium members, and the other committee is composed of member bodies of the International Organization for Standardization, or ISO. I sit on both committees and present proposals if the proposal author cannot attend the standards meetings. Finally, after approval, the script and its characters are published. The new scripts are published online by the Unicode Consortium in the Unicode Standard and in a publication by ISO. The entire process from the first proposal until publication is at least 2 years, but often many more. Once the scripts are published, the next challenge is getting the scripts onto computers and devices. In general, it's easier to get support on computers than on phones, but I'm going to outline here just the basic steps involved. To be able to type text, Unicode-based fonts and keyboards are needed. The basic requirement has been a bottleneck for some scripts, particularly small scripts used by minority language users and those using historic scripts. The images here are of the Hanifi Rohingya script, which was published by Unicode in June 2018. Fortunately, SEI has been able to partner with ANRT in Nancy, France, to help get fonts created, which has been a blessing. Another possible source of fonts are students in the MA program in typeface design at the University of Reading. Also, the Google Noto font project is planning on creating fonts for all the scripts of Unicode, pending continued funding. Keyboards, or some other input mechanism, is needed to be able to type text once a Unicode-based font is available. Keyman is a free open-source platform that can be used for someone to create a keyboard. There are other options available to create keyboards too. A number of keyboards are already available for mobile devices via Gboard, an app from Google. Gboard makes available virtual keyboards for Android and iPhones for over 900 languages. And Apple has recently made available for macOS and the iOS new keyboards for 38 additional languages. Updates to software may be required, especially if the script has special combining behavior, such as when the letters connect. Upgrading to the latest operating system may mean getting the latest update, or it could mean having to buy a new device, a requirement that may be prohibitive for language communities with less financial resources. This slide shows Egyptian hieroglyphs with its special stacking and layout. The newest Windows upgrade will support this capability thanks to new characters that were published in the Unicode this year, but the user must be running the latest version of Windows, which is not due to be released until perhaps 2020. Many users of modern scripts are keen to be able to type their scripts in social media, such as Twitter or Facebook. However, this may involve lobbying the company to support the script. in the software, which could be a high hurdle for smaller communities. Finally, information on the languages that use the script is needed. This information, called locale data, includes the names of the days of the week, as well as time and date formats. Such locale data is needed so software will display the appropriate day and time for that language. For example, if you use French as your preferred language, you would expect to see the day and time displayed as you would expect it. I'm sometimes asked just how large SEI and Unicode are. SEI is a very small project involving myself, a handful of proposal authors, and a board that oversees the project. A number of people contributing, however, to the development of the Unicode Standard is much larger. At meetings of the Unicode Technical Committee, which is one of the two standards committees, about 14 or 15 core people attend. Those contributing to locale data is even larger, with several hundred people regularly submitting data. It can still be a challenge to explain Unicode to academics, and I'm going to focus here briefly on two groups, linguists and paleographers. The approach by Unicode to encode characters differs from what many linguists are interested in. Unicode focuses on representing the graphemes on a page, irregardless of reading order, for example, whereas many linguists are interested in how the graphemes represent sounds of a language and the reading order. So this slide shows an example from Mayan hieroglyphs, where the character order varies from the reading order. In addition, many linguists are not well versed on how computers are implemented on computers, which can lead to misunderstandings. For paleographers, small graphical variations can be of interest and may need to be captured, which is beyond what Unicode is concerned with, which is more at a much more abstract level. This slide shows two small letter D characters by two different Scrabble hands. The fine detail showing the little bar on the vertical stroke on the right-hand side is outside the bounds of what Unicode covers, unless it has a special semantic distinction. Fonts, however, could capture this distinction between these two Ds, if desired. Another question is, if Unicode is backed by the entire IT industry, why don't they support SEI much more? While it is true Unicode is widely supported, financial support for work on smaller modern languages and historical scripts tends to be overlooked. Based on my discussions with those in IT companies, engineers need to be able to justify to upper management the allocation of resources for implementing scripts on computers, devices, fonts, and software. And the argument about the importance of including these scripts, their users, and their legacies doesn't seem to be persuasive to those in charge of the budget. The Missing Script project, however, helps to draw attention to the issue. I think continuing to talk about it and publicize the importance of encoding these scripts in relaying stories of the impact of the work may help. The task of finishing the project, that is, encoding all 160 or so scripts, is rather elusive to my mind, in part because a number of old scripts are still being brought to my attention and a few brand new scripts are being created. Last year, 4 scripts were approved. As shown on this chart, the number of scripts has been low for the past few years. At the current rate of 4 per year, it's going to take 40 years. On the positive side, I have tried to mentor new proposal authors and provide guidance so more people can be tackling script proposal work. In my view, a small team from the next generation will need to stay involved in Unicode work for many years to come as requests come in for new scripts and additional characters. If I were to estimate the number of years when most could be encoded, I guess I could estimate maybe 10 years, especially if financing could be provided. More time and money would be needed to make scripts accessible on devices and software. I wanted to highlight what I see as the importance of the project to encode scripts. For historic scripts, text can be archived in a stable format. This can provide assurance that the materials will be able to survive, even in the case of natural disaster or human destruction. Depending upon the script, text can be OCR'd and made searchable. This can help speed up digitizing large amounts of text, which otherwise would need to be rekeyed. For scholarly articles on Egyptian hieroglyphs, for example, this would be a real boon, since right now there's no way to search the hieroglyphs in printed articles. Being able to reliably exchange text would benefit scholarly exchange. Scholars would be able to discuss a particular Egyptian hieroglyph, for example, in an email, without worrying that the wrong would be received. In addition, having the scripts in Unicode can help keep alive the study of ancient scripts. This is important today, since some universities are cutting back on language courses. The work may be able to revive a script. As an example, the Takri script, which was used in northern India, was phased out in the 20th century and replaced by the Devanagari script. However, an illustrator found the successful Unicode proposal and got interested in the script, which was published in Unicode in 2012. On the right-hand side of the slide is a badge by the illustrator who lives in northern India, and there are reports of efforts to revive the script today. For communities of modern minority speakers, having access to a script means they can communicate in their preferred script instead of one of the other predominant scripts. The Old Chiki script is such an example. It was created by a member of the Santal community to write the Santali language used in northeast India. The language has also been written in Latin script, Devanagari, Bangla, and Oriya scripts. Old Chiki's use has grown, and now the Bengal state government's official magazine will be published in this script, as reported in the article shown on the slide. Having access to a script on a mobile device and in social media can help engage the next generation. Cherokee has been, for example, on computers and mobile devices for a few years. It was published in 1999. And it has been shown to be a model for many other communities. Occasionally, a new script can actually help revitalize a language. The last person who spoke the Osage language from childhood died in 2012. In the Osage Nation, which is based in Oklahoma, in the U.S., they established the Osage Language Program in 2004. As part of the program, a new writing system was created, since it only had non-standardized Latin-based orthographies beforehand. The newly created Osage script has been in use since 2006. Osage was published in Unicode in 2016 and now has a font and keyboard. Thanks to the ongoing efforts by the community, there are now over 200 speakers and perhaps over 500. The script can also serve to tie a community together, especially when the community is spread across many different countries. The Adlam script was created to be able to represent the sounds of the language of the Fulani people. This language, called Pular, Fulfudi, or Fula, is spread across several different countries, where it can be written in Arabic or Latin. However, if users rely on the Adlam script, the communities will be able to communicate in one script in their mother tongue. As a way to communicate with the population, particularly about health or legal matters, being able to communicate in a language can be a lifesaver. This slide shows information on strokes in the Tigrinya language, which uses the Ethiopic script. Because the text is in Unicode, it can be cut and pasted into reading materials or on a poster. Also, Ebola information was relayed during the 2014 outbreak in West Africa using the Encode script instead of English or French, which many of the local populations did not read well. A script, whether historic or modern, is often a symbol of ethnic pride. Even if the users can't read the script, it can still appear in art or signage and remains an important symbol of identity. The Bamum script is not currently widely read, but it has been incorporated into artwork, such as on the left-hand side of the slide, and it also appears in a sign in the Cameroon. I feel that by focusing on the more politically prominent scripts in their languages, many historic scripts and modern minority scripts will be left out. So it is critical, in my opinion, to strive to include these missing scripts in order to preserve the legacy of various cultures and keep modern minority language users from being sidelined and forgotten. Thank you.